Alright, welcome back to the Super Coach Nuff channel. In this video we're going to preview round 15 of the 2024 NRL fantasy season. So as usual with our round preview, we'll kick off with the who's hot, who's not. Give them the quick top chop trap slap treatment, as I did miss that video yesterday, so apologies for that. But the who's hot list starts with Fletcher Sharp. So obviously great value, playing fullback, which we love in fantasy. What did he score in fantasy last week? I'm not even sure on that. 50, did include a try. So I guess being mindful of that. -2 break even. He is on the bye next week, so if you're looking for coverage for round 16, not the best option. But I guess if you are looking for a cheap option that could make a little bit of money, he is the way to go. Sounds like he was originally preferred to over Armstrong. It was just that he was also injured at the time that Ponga went down. So I think he could have that job until Ponga gets back in. I think it's round 22, something like that. Jerome Hughes, if you're looking for a gun half that plays 16-17, he is the one, I believe. Get him in. Latrell, I'd wait a week. Obviously he'll have a nice break even, I think 14. So, he will cost more next week. But I think, if you bring him in with the hope he's going to play and then he gets picked for Origin, he'll actually miss the next 2 games. So, definitely a wait on Latrell. Bit of a trap this week. Ewan Aitken, top pick, bring him in. Tyron Wishart is interesting. He's a bit more expensive now, but -13 break even. And I mean, just look, since he's gone to 80 minutes, just such good scores. So I think you can get him in. He's priced at 36, and he's averaging closer to 50 with the 80 minutes. Even you can see in round 3, 66 and 80. So yeah, Wishart, get him in. Jack Whiten, I do like. He's retired from rep footy, so at 412, dual position, cheap price, plays round 16. Doesn't play round 17 is the only downfall, but obviously if you can cover that, it's a great pick. Fanua Blake, season-long keeper, lock him in. Zach Lomax, probably the same sort of thing. Obviously won't cover round 16 or 19, but if you can work around that, he's probably a wing fullback keeper type option. Actually, he'd be available in the centres too, wouldn't he? Yeah, of course he is. So potentially even a keeper in the centres. He won't score 103 every week, but he'll go close some weeks. Dave Fafita, do like the pick, bring him in. Jaden Campbell's an interesting one, obviously playing in the 5'8" position, so I didn't actually see his score from last week. Where are we? 23, that's way too high. 57. So not as many tackles as I anticipated, but what's that? Tackle breaks? A few tackle breaks. That's interesting. Kicked goals as well. That's interesting. Against the Tigers this week, there could be a few of them on offer. So I think, sort of mid-price wing fullback option. It's a pretty good one. Has good bye coverage. Yeah, Jaden Campbell. Brendan Hands doesn't play next week, but still negative break even. So yeah, bring him in. He's not setting the world on fire with 33 last week in 70 minutes almost. So, but that's okay. It's still from where he was. We'll take it. Sean Johnson back this week. If you can wait a week, give his price a chance to dip. I think his break even's quite high, 94. So, could get him sub 800 next week, which might be the right price. Sifa Talakai is probably a trap in the sense that he won't play next week. And then Teague Wilton's due back around 17. Joe Tarpany, decent enough mid option for the next couple of weeks. Trade him in. And Max Plath, Dolphins by coverage is good enough to bring him in. On the chopping block, David Armstrong, I think, is one you can cut. Um, don't remember if I have him or not. I don't think so. I think I already chopped him. But yeah, won't play this week, won't play next week. And as we said, I think Sharp is preferred at fullback. Maybe if a spot comes up on the wing, we might see Armstrong again. Lockie Galvin is one I'm just waiting to get more information on. There's mixed reports in the media and all that. Sounds like the hand's not that bad. It obviously does need some rest. So I'm hoping he can get up for next week. And it sounds like from, again, the media reports is the Tigers will try and do whatever it takes to keep him. So you imagine as soon as he's fit to go, they'll slot him back in the team. He'll be the first one on the team sheet. So um, I'd suggest holding. Obviously, there's a bit of money sitting there. So if he's not up next week, well, then we'll go elsewhere. Atkinson back out of the team with Hines back in. So yeah, I think you can cut him. He doesn't play next week either. They have another buy in round 20, which is inconvenient. Sam Hughes, I think, yep, if you can upgrade him, do it. Josh Curran, I think's a hold. It was a bad concussion, but I would imagine he'll be back for round 16. Reece Walsh won't be back till round 17, so probably a cut. Cooler, so I don't think he's injured. It's just that he's not playing fullback. So I think people trying to get out of the pick, but it's probably one where you need to give yourself a slap. He'll play next week, and I think he has to buy around 17. So if you wanted to move him then, that's fine. But he will probably also cover 19 and 20. Jaden Brayley, so yeah, disappointing last week. Didn't look at the stats too closely, but 21 in 31 minutes. So Phoenix Crossland started, which obviously is not good signs. So potentially, yeah, one to get out of this week because break even at 45, he'll lose a bit of money. Oh, lost me page back. Got all the pages open, ready to roll. Jamin Salmon, I guess with Preston's injury, his job security's increased further. Um, and I think it's just a week to week proposition. Just, the Bulldogs have just coming up with game plans based on where they can exploit weakness. Last week it was, well, the last couple of weeks it's been down that right edge through Stephen Crichton and Connor Tracy, sweeping down there. But, I guess if someone gets a chance on the left edge, he could make it work. But, some people's patience has run out. I totally understand. Brandon Smith, yep. So I think it seems like there's a bit of discontent there, so it might be worthwhile just cutting your losses. Dylan Brown, not sure why he's on the chopping block. Highish break even. Guess doesn't play next week. But I mean, you take last week's performance out, he's averaging 50, which is not the worst. I know it's not the best, but I think for Origin time of year, you take 50 from your players if you can bank it. Jacob Preston injured, probably won't cover 16, 17, so you can cut him. Reid Marnie, I'd probably hold, even though I'm guessing he's also, he's not even that bad. Don't know why people are cutting. That's definitely a slap right there. Swally, obviously, if you've got him, he can go. And Alamalo, did he not get picked this week? I guess he's not producing much anyway, so that's probably fine. 63 minutes suggests that maybe he's injured and not playing. Didn't pay that close attention to the Tigers team list, if I was being honest, other than our man Lockie Galvin. So I guess on to my team this week. And honestly, it's probably, I don't think it's changed much since the round preview, if at all. Sorry, the round review from last week, if at all. Although, in saying that, the trades wasn't open, but I don't think I was going to do anything anyway. As you can see, I can get 17 on the park. Um, the one might be Jaden Brayley. I probably should check the team list properly to make sure he's starting or not, but he could even be on the bench. I know Finny Fuiaki's on the bench. But I guess it's that thing as well, is do we wait a week just to see who's actually playing and make an informed decision? Um, because, yeah, if we go to the team planner off of NRLFantasyStats.com, remember, plug your name in at the top. Um, so currently we've got 12, and that is including Galvin. So worst case scenario, we've got 11. But, Fini Fuiaki and Drinkwater are already on the chopping block. And we could potentially add Brayley as well. So 3 trades next week. That would get us to at least 14. Um, I guess this is a little bit misleading. It says 20, but Hopper Whitey, I think because he got added in midway through the season, isn't highlighted as being on bye. So we actually have 19. So as long as we're making sure that a couple of these replacements play round 17 as well, we'll be covered. And then, if we're using 3 trades next week, that'll bring us down to the 4. So we can use 4 trades to just basically get as many as we can in for round 19 and 20. And I actually think round 20 is when the extra 8 trades activate. So basically then it'll be, going for gold to get our mids and halves stacked up again. Pretty happy with things like the edges, the centres in particular, Kiraz and Aiken, are going to be the probably combination for the back end of the year. Wing fullbacks obviously needs a little bit of attention, but we've got Edwards, we've got money with Wishart and Weeks once they're tapped out. So I guess we'll use most of those 8 trades fairly quickly, I'd imagine, and just go for broke in the last sort of half a dozen weeks. So for that reason, I'm just going to hold firm. Like, Finny Fuiaki, Brayley might be a bit flat, but you never know with this game. That's what's great about it. In terms of captain, vice captain, I think Fafita against the Tigers is really tempting. So I might just leave him with the C. Um, Vice captain, could do Fennell Blake against the Storm. I don't think I'll go back to Harry Grant. He's just, they're sort of definitely keeping him in reserve for the run home. Dylan Edwards, I guess, could probably, serve as a vice captain. Admittedly, in Newcastle against the Knights, it's not the easiest. Aitken, he did good by me last time, so maybe who the Cowboys got? The Raiders. The Raiders are a gritty team, so maybe, yeah, I think we'll just stick with Edwards and Drinkwater for the time being, and the 17 can just stay as it is. But I guess that's all for my team. Just one before we go. I was going to do it off the top, and I completely forgot. But a bit of a shout out to one of the, I'm guessing, subscribers to the channel, but definitely gets in amongst it with the comments if this ever loads up. So shout out to Keenan, who got number 1 overall for round 14 with a 1087. Absolute monster score. So just have a look at his team. Like having Yo, Haas, Matangi has been pretty good. I was a bit unsure on him, but actually watching him the other night, he actually looks really handy in that lock forward position. Guess the issue is Cam Murray is coming back, so you imagine he'll slide back out on the edge very soon. But like Tuolangi scored a try for Feeder doing for Feeder things. Wishart crushed it. But then Toto and Latrell Mitchell as captain, I think this pushed the score up over the top. So well found there. Jack Whiten as well, great call. And the bench, like Liam Henry getting a 65, Cody Walker on the bench, so worked out really well. So just shout out to you, champion. Like I said, always in the comments, and deserve some credit for that. But we'll wrap the video up there. So, as always, if you've got any questions, comments, thoughts, feel free to get them below the video. Give us a like if you enjoy the fantasy content. Subscribe for all of the fantasy sports content we do on the channel. And other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.